Annyeonghaseyo, all my beautiful people. How are you doing today? And welcome to the alternate point of view. I hope you are all having a great weekend. I wanted to do this video today because we are going to talk about Sarah Boone. Tomorrow, our jury selection. So I wanted to do a quick recap of what this is all about, what's going on. Everyone's talking about it. It's been going on for the last, oh my gosh, I do believe nearly 6 years. No, 4 years. 4 years. So it feels like 6 or 7 or 8. Oh my goodness. So poor Jorge Torres is what this case is really about. Everyone has been talking about Sarah Boone, but this case is really about Jorge Torres, who was a 42-year-old man who was suffocated to death on February 24th, 2020 in Winter Park, Florida, which is a very nice area in Florida. After, for whatever reason, is the question that everyone asks on their mind, he got into a suitcase. And again, another question on everyone's mind is how in the world did he fit in the suitcase? Well, Jorge was a rather small man. He probably weighed about 130 pounds. Which again, I'm sure a lot of women look at themselves and are like, how in the heck did he fit in the suitcase? How big was the suitcase? But regardless, he did get in the suitcase, okay? And he was zipped up into this suitcase. And this happened, again, February 24th of 2020. He was in the suitcase, zipped up in the suitcase, and his girlfriend, Sarah Boone, was arrested the next day for second-degree red rum. And after agreeing to a police interview, she did have a conversation with the police. Well, let's talk about who Jorge and Sarah Boone were. Well, prior to this horrific incident of suffocating in a suitcase, Jorge had been arrested multiple times for alleged instances of domestic violence against Boone, and she had been arrested a time for an alleged incident of domestic violence against Torres. Boone had been arrested once for alleged battery and strangulation against Torres in July of 2018. When both Boone and Torres were arrested, however, her charge was dismissed, and Torres had been arrested 4 times for battery against Boone, and Boone bailed Torres out of jail each time. Both parties would not press charges against the other, and the police would ask them to stay away from each other because they had such a volatile relationship. According to family members and according to police reports and things of that nature, apparently Jorge Torres never had any issues of DV or assault of that sort until he started dating Sarah Boone, if that tells you anything. On February 25th, which was the day after the incident, Sarah Boone called 911. Now, this is the day after Jorge was in the suitcase, and she told them that her boyfriend, Jorge Torres, was deceased. Boone claimed that she and Torres had a single bottle of wine and that they decided to play hide and seek. Now, they're both 42 years old. She claimed that they thought it would be funny to put him in the suitcase and that they were both laughing about it, having a great time, and thought, hey, it'd be funny to see if you fit in this suitcase, I guess. And I'm not really sure how the hide and seek came into play, because if you're playing hide and seek, you're kind of hiding, right? You're not going to tell the person where you're hiding, and the person isn't going to put you in your hiding spot and zip you up in there. So she stated that, we're going to see if you fit in the suitcase. She put him in the suitcase, zipped him up in the suitcase, and then she went upstairs and accidentally fell asleep, leaving him in the suitcase all night long. And, well, after finding out that Sarah had kind of filmed the entire thing on her phone, and she sounded a little more like she'd had a split bottle of wine with Jorge. Sounded more like she had a couple of bottles of wine on that video. She filmed Jorge in the suitcase, begging her to let him out. Now, when you see the video, it's pretty thick, it's pretty awful. Uh, you can hear Jorge saying her name over and over again. Sarah, I can't breathe. Sarah, Sarah, over and over again. And all Sarah's doing is mocking him and saying, that's what you do when you choke me. And that's how I feel when you cheat on me. And that's my name. Wear it out. It's pretty antagonizing and condescending the way she's acting. And you can tell she's pretty drunk or high or something to that effect. I'm not sure what she is, but you can tell that she's being very vindictive and that she's uh, finding some way to get back at him. And she's not having any intention of letting him out of this suitcase. So she was, at the end of the day, charged with this second-degree red rum, and she's been held in the Orange County jail there for the last several years. And she has been through at least 8 different attorneys to represent her. And all 8 of those attorneys have withdrawn from representing her because she is clearly very hard to represent. She has come up with every reason possible to basically say she is innocent. Now, they're not charging her with first degree, which is with intent, like planned out, like, and first degree is a pretty fine line. So you don't have to have a lot. First degree, actually, she could easily be charged with because she did put him in the suitcase and she did leave him in the suitcase, and she could have changed her mind and taken him out of the suitcase, but she chose not to do that. And they're charging her with second degree. So, she's kind of getting off a little easy there with the second degree, but the trial has been postponed. It has been continued. It has been just so long for Jorge's family to get justice, to figure out what in the world is going on, to have this rehashed and played on YouTube, court TV, Law and Crime, to know that she is not taking responsibility for what she did. She has, again, gotten to the point where at some point the judge was like, look, I washed my hands of you. You are going to have to represent yourself, because at this point in time, we are not postponing this any further. This is going to trial October 7th, whether you like it or not, it's going. And finally, she, after sending letter after letter, and I'm not talking about one pagers here, I'm talking about 50 plus page letters to the judge, talking about herself, constantly talking about herself, her conditions, her lack of knowledge to represent herself, and basically making herself sound like, oh, woe is me. She's not the one who's deceased. Okay. She's not the one who suffocated in a miserable way in a suitcase, curled up in a fetal position, and left there like that. So I know a lot of people out there are like, why the heck did he get in the suitcase? But that's victim blaming. So I don't think that that is fair. What is unfair is that Sarah Boone has managed to prolong this trial for years, and the judge has just had enough. But Sarah, by some magic, by some lucky magic, got an attorney literally like 3 weeks before her trial date. And this attorney thought he was going to be smart and get a continuance because he's new to the case. He thought, yes, I can get a continuance. The judge was like, no, sir, we're not having it. You will be ready October 7th, or you just won't be able to represent her. I don't know what to tell you, but she's been through 8 attorneys already, and she's going to have to deal with this, or, it is what it is. So now she has not one, but two attorneys representing her. And here we come in to October 7th. Everyone's chomping at the bit. We're finally going to have this trial. Jury selection is going to begin. And what happens but a natural disaster? Hurricane Milton comes in to Florida. Now, poor Florida has already been hit by Hurricane Helene, and it goes all the way up into the mountains, the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina into South Carolina. The poor Southeast has just been hammered by these terrible hurricanes, tornadoes, everything you can think of. And now the judge has had no choice but to postpone this trial one more time. And finally, tomorrow, October 14th, there will begin jury selection in this trial. But wait, there is more, y'all. As if Sarah Boone could not have gotten any more chances. Oh my gosh, but she did. She gets another Hail Mary, a Hail Mary of all Hail Marys. And what does she get? What does Sarah Boone get with this amazing, amazing trial? It's shocking what she gets. But first, let us look at where she gets this, how this all started. How did this all start? Well, first of all, it all started with her putting him in the suitcase. And how in the world this began is by him being in the suitcase in the first place. This is how she gets in the trouble she gets into. She says it's an accident. She says that they are, you know, doing this as a game, that they're playing a game, they're playing hide and seek, yet somehow she knew where he was hiding, yet she filmed it all. So it's, I don't know, 42 years old, you guys. And then it just seems odd. So let's check out the Suitcase video. And this is a warning. This is Jorge. It's a good sized suitcase.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
You.
Sarah.
You.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it up.
Sarah. I can't breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me.
Sarah. 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 Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
That's on you.
Sarah, I can't breathe.
It's on you.
Sarah.
Real or ransom. I want to get video for it extra. Because I got this.
Sarah.
Real or ransom.
Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
Oh. That's what I feel like when you ching on me.
Sarah. Breathe, Sarah.
Yeah. You should probably shut up.
Sarah.
Shh.
Sarah.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but the suitcase actually moved from being upside down to right side up. So I don't know who did that. I don't know if Jorge was able to flip himself or if Sarah did that. And as you can hear her very slurred speech, she's clearly really drunk or high or possibly both. But regardless, you can hear her voice. You can hear her, what she's saying. She has zero intention of letting him out of that suitcase. So I'm pretty surprised that they only went for second degree. But not only did this occur and she call it an accident, and not only has she postponed this trial for this many years, and not only has she been through 8 attorneys and finally gotten herself an attorney, and not only has this trial been postponed due to a hurricane, which is obviously not something she could have planned, but she even was thrown a Hail Mary pass just before this trial was postponed for due to the hurricane. But she was thrown this pass just before the trial and while the trial was being postponed due to the weather. So let's hear about this.
Jury selection process, which was going to be starting this morning, has been pushed until next week. Let's watch the judge.
Thank you so much for letting me know your positions. As we just discussed, as of 10:46 this morning, the chief judge has decided to close all courthouses due to Hurricane Milton, both Wednesday, October 9th and Thursday, October 10. The court anticipates that operations will return to normal on Friday, October 11th, but that's due to the court's continued close monitoring of the impacts of the storm. Due to the potential storm and the ramifications of it, the court is going to postpone jury selection in this matter till Monday, October 14th at 9 a.m. Mr. Owens, please provide the court the order with regard to the clothing and shoes, and we'll address that as necessary. As also requested, please provide my judicial assistant your cellular telephone numbers before you leave today. With that, the court is in recess, and we will see you all on Monday, October 14th. Thank you. Ms. Boone will be returned to the custody of the Orange County Jail pending jury selection. We're off the record. Thank you.
All right, there it is. Sarah Boone was supposed to sit and watch jury selection take place today. Now, earlier this morning, she had a chance to take a deal. The state announced in open court that they were ready to give her a deal of 15 years if she pled guilty for the lesser charge of manslaughter. Right now, she's facing a second-degree murder conviction, which has a minimum of 22 years. Here is that moment where Sarah says no.
Do you understand that if we were to proceed to trial in this matter, and if you were found guilty, the lowest permissible sentence that the court could levy in this case would be 22.5 years in the Department of Corrections? Do you understand that? Do you understand the state's offer to resolve this case? Okay.
The offer is 15 years to a lesser included charge of manslaughter, with the understanding that she would serve 85% of that sentence.
That's up to the department and her behavior, but that is my understanding of the section.
Ma'am, understanding the state's offer, do you wish to accept or reject the state's offer to resolve this case?
Reject.
So huge mistake. Not just a big mistake. Huge mistake on her part. She was offered 15 years. You know, she can get just a minimum of 22 and a half years for the other charge. She decided to reject that. She's still being offered a Hail Mary plea deal and denied it. She is so that is Sarah Boone. That is the trial we will be covering next week. As soon as they select a jury, we're going to be going into Sarah Boone, and we will be watching this trial live on the alternate point of view. I wanted to do a quick recap of why we are here, why Sarah Boone is here, and it is all due to Sarah Boone and her poor life choices. And I feel terrible for Jorge and his family. And yeah, I just think it's sad. It's sad that there's not going to be any closure for them. And it's sad that she is putting them through this when she could have been given this deal. And usually the family does have to have some sort of say in a plea deal. And I know they don't want to continue going through this. This has just been a nightmare. So stay tuned for next week when we go through the Sarah Boone trial live here on the alternate point of view. And I will just say that we will pray for Jorge's family. We will continue to just pray for the victims in all of these cases, because all of these situations are preventable, every single one. So let's pray for Jorge and the Torres family, pray for his children, and let's just pray that justice will be served. And as we all know, God is the only judge of everything and everyone. So we will pray that God will put his hands on the, over the jury and make sure that everything is done correctly and up to par in our American justice system. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you all. Please like, subscribe, and share. I love my OGs. And if you are new, thank you so much for subscribing. Please, again, like, subscribe, and share. And appreciate you all. Hamsamnida. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.